Hey guys, Jeff here with Ghost Knight Gaming, and we are back for another episode of Dude, Where's My Magic Crystal? I mean, Final Fantasy 1 Pixel Remaster. We've done some piracy on the high seas, monster hunting on the high seas, and we are a little bit richer than we were before, which means we're going to take advantage of that increase in income to go buy us some nice stuff before we head down south and deal with the elves. Because sometimes you just have to build up the courage to deal with elves. If you know, you know. Alright, and the first thing I realized that we need, maybe, let's actually head to the elves. Maybe we'll buy all their stuff, and, yeah, that'll learn them, I think, or something like that. That shark is doing a considerable amount of damage. I think we need to heal before they kill our fighter, because that shark, this is why we need more armor, because that is genuinely a problem. And think of how much damage he does to him. Imagine if he bites somebody else. Yeah, we don't want that. Alright. We have potions. We'll have to buy some more, but there we go. Just in case. Better to be prepared than be unprepared. As we fight more wolves. Who let the dogs out? Who let all of the dogs out? At least we can still fend them off with our swords. We did get a slightly better weapon in one of our drops, a saber. But unfortunately, unlike the heroic spirit of the same name in the Fate series, it's not going to be smacking anybody with no Excalibur level smackdowns anytime soon. So we're going to need to replace it with something better. One of our objectives at some point is to look for certain items in the game that have the secondary benefit of being usable items, unlimited use specifically, usable items in combat for various things, whether it's spellcasting or for, well, actually, it's just for spellcasting, whether it's for healing or something similar. I just don't know what we can do. Please help our prince. Why? He's just sleeping, right? It's just a really bad nap. 100 gil per night. That is elven robbery, I say. I mean, I don't know what the, going currency of a lot of things are here, but I must say that is probably, something that if you are unaware, if you check this out, there are some hidden Easter eggs in the game. Here lies Link in an elven kingdom. I wonder who they're referencing here. Though I hear that if you check that particular gravestone in the original game, it says somebody else's name, and you're welcome to share that little tidbit in the comments below. Let's go see what they've got for really good spells. I'm assuming really good spells. Ooh, we have a level 3 spell, Cura, Dyra, Null Blaze. That's not terrible. Not terrible. Restores a little HP to the entire party, though. But 1,000 gold. Like, the first level spells weren't too bad for price, but these ones are getting a little outrageous. I mean, who are you kidding, guys? How many white mages and black mages do you know out there? Are you getting rich off of this? Is this a ploy, a plan? What is it? Lowers evasion of all enemies. This potentially could be a useful one, maybe. But we're definitely going to find a fire spell. But before we get anything else, we should probably see about getting some better armor and weapons. Let's look at the weapons first. I'm always, the best defense is a really good and overpowering offense, and unfortunately, it's not that great. He can't even use the stick. I guess we could get the dagger for the red mage and the black mage. Here, have a stabby thing. Don't stab yourself with it. For the best. We may have to go back to Bravoka to get a better sword. I am a sage. When the time is right, the future is revealed to me. I shall wait patiently until then. By then, the future will have arrived, sir. Just gonna point that out. Now, it seems that the efforts to defend our poor mages seems to start getting expensive. As just to get them an amulet made out of copper. A copper armlet, a wristband, is more gil than an entire suit of armor. And I have questions concerning that, but unfortunately we don't have time to ask them right now. For now, I'm just going to pay the price and actually have some nice things, because I need to keep these guys alive. So, let's just toss that on. Oh look, now they have a little bit of defense. Oh, they can wear the leather caps. Good to know. I wasn't paying attention. There we go. Let's get him a little hat to go with his hat. Does that hat go on top of his hat? Does it replace his hat? I have questions about this, and I don't foresee myself getting any answers. Alright, now that we've spent all our money, how much do we have? We have enough for one sword. Let's go get some more money, and let's go see if we can get those weapons that were back in Provoca, which I think were better standard than the saber. But I could be wrong. However, they are 450 gold to buy them, which means that we need a little bit more money than what we have. Sir, can you spare 8 gil? No, don't worry, I'll just take it off your corpse after we kill you. No, it won't be any trouble at all. We need the experience, you see. We're warriors of light, and we're here to save the world, just not you. But you didn't hear that from me. As we sail across the sea, I often wonder a couple of very important questions. There's only 4 of them. How are they sailing the ship? If they have a crew, where does the crew go and what do they do? Do they sing sea chanties while they're going across the sea, and what do they sound like for warriors of light? And do they know the Wellerman? And I still wonder what the name of the ship is. I don't think it's the Billy of Tea, but I also don't think it's the Captain Biggie either. Bike? I don't know. I still don't know how to say his name, and I don't think we ever will. Oh wait, perhaps I could find out. We should actually have to pay attention when we play Stranger in Paradise. So, take note of that, everybody. When we play Stranger in Paradise, we may be able to hear or find out about his name. And when we do, we're going to have to remember that. We probably won't, but we're going to have to remember that. Alright, let's deal with these chiefs first, and then we have, in theory, less of a problem from the rest of them, because they'll just give up, right? And just give us our experience and money, or not. No, usually they'll run, or they'll fight us more, and fight us a lot. That is the inherent problem here. And my goodness, the number of enemies that show up in a single encounter at times, depending on where you end up and what enemies show up, this could be a potential nightmarish situation if you're not prepared. And consider that these encounter sizes, 9 of these Sahagwan, that was something that happened even in the original game, which means that in a game where you get less experience, less money, you have less access to a lot of extra things that would make combat and traveling around very easy, but you're still facing numbers of foes similar to this, and the potential danger to your party in a situation like that, especially when some of these guys can take off half the health of some of your less armored allies. Nice to see him taking 1 damage now from him. The fascinating thing about playing through is money is always an issue as you play through the game. And it really doesn't matter what your build is or what you choose for classes. On one side, you're constantly having to buy higher and higher level magic, which can get expensive. On the other side, even if you're not buying magic, you're constantly having to buy equipment. Now, if you only have, say, one fighter in your party, and relying solely on him for most of your damage dealing outside of spellcasting, you can actually find that they are relatively inexpensive to run because a lot of what you can find out there in treasure is great gear for your fighter. So this is why we came here. The broadsword has a slightly better attack and better accuracy than our saber that we find in the other town. So, thus the reason for our trip here. Now, while the battle axe does more damage, it's not nearly as accurate. There we go. So we see the increase there, and voila. Now we're prepared. And now we can head and go and see the elves. Besides the elves we already saw. The in-charger elves, the ones in charge of the thing. Now we'll see what the difference is to our damage now that we've added at least a little bit of damage on our two fighters. Plus, they're also very well defended now. We've got some new spells. We could still use them. Well, okay, so our Black Mage is not having much luck here. He's just getting beat up. But he's stabbing back just as well. There we go, almost 100 damage. It makes a difference in the long run. As your fighters will be doing a lot of your random encounter damage dealing. Unless you're dealing with undead, where your white mage is very heavily doing a lot of the work. Suffice to say, their back is going to get tired from carrying the party when it comes to undead. But for now, while fighting the fish people, we're going to use our fighters to fillet them, and then, cook them up in a nice butter sauce. Preferably with a little garlic, a sprig of parsley, and perhaps a side of chips to go with it. Perfect. Let's continue on our way. Hey, we've got a potion. Let's use said potion because I did not buy any more because I used up all my money buying weapons. Use that potion to heal our poor mage. Alright, here we go. Yeah, them and their 10 closest friends have decided to pick on us at this point. I'm not a fan of it, but what can you do? Well, he tried to run away and failed, which works for me, because that means that I get more experience. And since they're already here harassing me, I might as well get something out of it. Experience and money seems a logical compensation for the inconvenience of having to stop my ship to have an encounter with them. Unless, of course, we could actually do two things at once and actually just keep the ship moving while we have the encounter. Then by the time we finish fighting these guys, we could be at our destination. But unfortunately, no, we have to stop because we're the only ones piloting the boat. Otherwise, we're not getting very far. I'm still wondering, maybe this was why they started out at level 1. They had to gain all these extra skills, like learning how to sail a ship. What other secret skills do our Warriors of Light have that we just don't know about? It would be interesting to see what they would put on their resume. That's a random thought. What would a Final Fantasy protagonist put on their resume as skills and abilities that they've gained, either before they began their adventure or during their adventure itself? Something we need to look into. We are back in the land of the elves. Hi, elves. How's it going? I'm gonna rest at your inn, even though you charge me too much. Highway robbery, I tell you. Oops. Oh no, snakes. Why are there snakes? Why does it have to be snakes? Alright, into the castle. Elven Castle. The country doesn't even have a name. It's just the Elven Castle. Astos's curse has put our prince into a deep sleep from which he cannot awake. Please, will you not aid our slumbering prince? Well, I've got a sword and a shield that I can bang together really loudly. Is that what you need? The prince has slept under Astos's curse for 5 years now. 5 years. There must be a concoction that can rouse one who sleeps so. But where? And you haven't looked in 5 years? Have you stood by his bed for 5 years? I guess it's a good thing elves are long-lived, because, yeah. Oh, hey. No, can't touch it. I was going to touch the fire. That to be through, I must loot your castle. I mean, investigate ways to assist you in your plight. Yes, that is what I must do. Oh, no, we went out. Curses. The door is locked. We need a mystic key. It seems that we must rouse this elf from his slumber. We must figure out how to do so. Something about an Astos. Probably not a nice guy. We should head over here and check it out. We would, but the wolves don't want to let us. Did we rest at the inn? We did. Sometimes we should make sure we have rested. I do have tents, so should I need to use one before we reach our destination, we will be prepared and ready to continue our adventure. Because camping is an essential part of being an adventurer. At least, in theory. If I was an adventurer, I'd make sure that the only places I travel to is where I could be within half a day's walk of some sort of sleeping establishment, inn, or similar thing. Why? Because I'd like to sleep on a bed. Getting old. Or older. And, yeah, sleeping on the ground is not my idea of a good time. But I suppose they are still young and are ready to explore. This does not seem... no, sir, I need you all to go the other way. Otherwise, I will be forced to scream loudly and hope that my fighters are able to fend you off. And we wouldn't want any screaming loudly at this point. Just trust me on this. It's not something you'd want. Alright, the ogre is out of the way. Bonk you on the head and continue our exploration. Oh, and level up. You're now level 13. Alright. Is this the way we need to go? I do not know. Gotta deal with all these wolves. All of them. Another set of foes defeated at our hands. And look, somewhere to explore. next time. On our next episode, we will figure out who this Astos fellow is, wake somebody up with the world's most efficient alarm clock, and continue on our adventure to find a crystal where we are definitely not finding it in the north. If you guys enjoyed checking this out, feel free to like and subscribe to the channel to see more stuff. Check me out over on Twitch if you want to talk to me live. And as always, have fun, keep gaming, and I'll see you guys again next time.